Hey everybody, welcome back around to the Blog and Grill. I'm your host Doug here with your video blog for September 21st, 2015. I have a great blog planned for you today as we're going to be talking Hunt for October, NASCAR at Chicagoland. I'll give you my top 6 in college football, but first I want to get to football and go around the shield in the NFL. Picks this week 3 and 2 is where I finished at. Just tip that down. Picks I finished at 3 and 2 for the week. And really had a solid week. So overall, on the season now, I am back to 500 at 5 and 5. Really making a move and trying to keep picking games correctly. It's your favorite segment of the week. It is time to go around the shield. Cam Newton rushes for 76 yards and carries the Panthers to a 24-17 win. The Panthers are 2-0 as they take down the Texans. Big Ben and the Steelers. Big Ben throws for 3 touchdowns. D'Angelo Williams rushes for 3. And the Steelers beat the 49ers 43-18. Jameis Winston, after a rough first start in the NFL, comes back with a solid start, throws for a touchdown pass, doesn't turn the ball over, and the Buccaneers upset the Saints, who are now 0-2, 26-19. Adrian Peterson was on our dud list last week, but he has 29 carries for 134 yards. Also has 2 catches for 58 yards as he bounces back in a big win, 26-16 over the Detroit Lions. Jay Cutler goes down with a hamstring injury, but the real story is Carson Palmer throwing for 4 touchdown passes. Cardinals are 2-0. Bears are 0-2. Cardinals win 48-23. Wild game in Buffalo, back and forth all throughout. Tom Brady, though, he goes for 466, 3 touchdowns. Patriots 2-0, Bills 1-1. Patriots win 40-32. Andy Dalton has 3 touchdown passes, and the other running back, Giovanni Bernard, 20 carries for 123 yards. Bengals are leading the AFC North at 2-0. They win 24-19 over the Chargers. Johnny Manziel throws for a couple touchdowns as the Browns beat Marcus Mariota and the Titans 28-14. The Falcons score 14 unanswered in the fourth quarter to beat the Giants behind another great game from Julio Jones. Matt Ryan goes for 363. Falcons are 2-0 as they beat the Giants 24-20. After a good week against the Seahawks last week, After a good week against Seahawks last week, the Rams struggle this week against Kirk Cousins, Matt Jones, and Washington Redskins. Redskins beat the Rams 24-10. Late penalties by the Dolphins caused the Jaguars to win, as Ryan Tannehill, though, he goes for 359. TJ Yeldon, 70-yard rushing in just his second game. Jags beat the Dolphins 23-20. Derek Carr throws for 3 touchdowns as the Raiders have put the Ravens at 0-2. Raiders beat the Ravens 37-33. And the Cowboys over the Eagles 20-10 behind Tony Romo's injury. Brandon Weeden comes in, throws a touchdown pass. We'll have more on Romo's injury later. And finally, in the Sunday night game, the Packers drop the Seahawks to 0-2. Aaron Rodgers throws 249 and 2 touchdowns. Packers beat the Seahawks 27-17. That is your Around the Shield for the week. And on Thursday night, we'll be back, and we're going to talk about Tony Romo's injury as well as studs and duds for your NFL Week 2. So that's what we'll be talking about NFL-wise on Thursday night. Time for your college football top 6, and I'll start with my 2 bubble teams. My first bubble team at number 6 is Alabama. I think the loss against Ole Miss is bad, but I don't think it's that bad. I think Jake Coker showed that he can play that quarterback position, takes too many risks. If Jake Coker can play a little bit better, I could see Alabama sneaking up in and getting back into this playoff. Baylor's my number 5 team. They just keep rolling right now. Ole Miss, I'm jumping them up to number 4 after an impressive win. Chad Kelly's playing some good quarterback for Ole Miss. And then my top 3 are still the same, just a little bit different. Let's see. Just a little bit different of an order. Last week I had Alabama up there, but Alabama gets booted. So Michigan State jumps up to number 2 in my poll. TCU number 3. And Ohio State, even though they struggled, still got the win. Ohio State still stays at number 1. Thursday, we will talk more about Ohio State and what they should do with their quarterback situation. NASCAR at Chicagoland, Denny Hamlin gets the win, and he advances on to the next round. It was kind of a funky race. A lot of important restarts. Jeff Gordon led some laps, but really Jeff struggled. Really probably should have pitted on his last pit stop, stayed out, got shuffled back. He finished 14th, took a major hit in the points. The big story of the day, though, had to be Kevin Harvick getting spun. Well, not getting spun, but he gets into Jimmie Johnson. Jimmie Johnson gets into him on a restart with about 130 laps to go, right around the halfway mark. He gets shoved down by Joey Logano. Jimmie comes up, cuts down a tire on Kevin Harvick. And now, I mean, it's just rough because now Jeff is sitting in a rough spot. Kevin Harvick is now got wrecked out of the race. He finished 42nd. He's in a bad spot, and I'm worried about Kevin Harvick right now. If I'm looking at the points, if I'm Jeff Gordon, because he is sitting there right about 22 points back of him. And if we just look at who's the point standings right now, Jeff Gordon's the last guy to advance right now if the chase were to cut it down today. Jamie McMurray's 13th, just 3 points back. Paul Menard, 4 points back. Clint Boyer, 6 points back. Kevin Harvick, 22 points back. And really the guys that I think are in good shape, if you get into those guys that are about 20 points up, so if you look down to about Jimmie Johnson, so if you look at Hamlin, Kenseth, Edwards, Busch, those are 4 Joe Gibbs guys, and those are 4 guys at the top. And then we have Joey Logano and Jimmie Johnson, your top 7. Ryan Newman finished 4th yesterday. He's 8th in points. Brad Keselowski 9th. Dale Jr. 10th. Martin Truex Jr. 11th. So really none of these guys are safe until you get up to about the 20-point mark of Joey Logano. And from there on, you're pretty much going to be safe to point your way in to the next round if you can just keep running consistently throughout. Next week, they head to Loudon. That's going to be an exciting race, as we will see if Jeff Gordon can try to make a run and get into the second round of this playoff system in just his last year. All right, let's get to our Hunt for October standings update for today. Toronto, 2.5 game lead over the Yankees. They currently lead the Yankees 3-0. They could pretty much wrap this series up this weekend, or this week. Mets, 6-game lead over the Nationals. They're kind of playing back towards them, but I think they're going to be okay. Nationals have a little bit tougher of a schedule, so I think the Mets will be okay there. Kansas City Royals are 3 games away from clinching the American League Central. I think they'll do that very soon. Cardinals are already into the playoffs in the National League Central, and that's just going to come down to that wild card race. And the American League West is still interesting. Houston, just a game and a half back of Texas. Houston and Texas will play at Houston this coming weekend. Dodgers are 7 is their magic number to clinch the National League West. And then if you go down to the wild card, Yankees have a solid 4-game lead over the Houston Astros right now. So they're in a pretty good spot. Minnesota and LA are both 2.5 back. Cleveland's 4 back, so Cleveland's even still in this race, if you can imagine that. And then what it comes down to is just it's going to be either Pittsburgh or Chicago. They're just basically playing to see who gets the home game for the wild card game. So that's all I got for you tonight. Thursday we'll do NFL studs and duds. We'll talk the Tony Romo injury and the Ohio State quarterback situation and all other headlines. You can check me out on sportsmindednews.com. You can also follow me on Twitter at YankeeBaller415. You can comment, question, subscribe to my page. Thanks for tuning into the Blogging Drill. I will see you back here on Thursday. Have a great rest of your week.